It's just such a pleasure to look down and see Derby here with us this morning and his beautiful daughter. It's lovely to have you with us, sir. Still a member of the Friendship Club, going strong. Last week, at the end of the service, we talked a little bit about the pink glass jar I had from glass made out of Mount St. Helens. I have to tell you that some people asked me after church if I really knew it was from Mount St. Helens. And I bought it at the Western Development Museum. So if it's not real, talk to them. Because I'd like my money back. I also bought a Christmas ornament, and it did come with a little plaque. I also bought a piece of the Berlin Wall, so I think I may be a sucker for those things. Why I brought it was to say, just to remind ourselves of the wonderful gifts of the little refugia that make it possible that today Mount St. Helens is once again green, although after that terrible day, people thought it would be lifeless, no new growth for decades and decades. And they found out that there were these little spots of refuge where small plants were safe, and they grew, and they have taken over, and so we have greening again. Greening, these spots of refuge, is what I want us to think about as we leave this service today. The first part of that is to find the places of refuge around us. Last Sunday, I was able to thank Larry Scott on your behalf for the refuge that is our Quadra Street Garden. So many people walk by it and feel that they're interested in what are the plants, what are the beans, and it may be the only garden that they see close up day after day. So we're very grateful for Larry for that place of refuge. Now, I had suggested last week that I think the most common place we see that in our lives in the city, not that I've ever been to Mount St. Helens, is where there's a little tiny plant coming through the cement. And you see that little plant. Now, that's not good news if the cement's your driveway. I understand that. But if the cement is somewhere else, and you look at that little plant, or something coming out of the side of a brick wall or a stone wall, and you think, how do you keep living year after year, your little roots, just like the pines in Northern Ontario? So once we discover them and cherish them, we can actually help them to grow. So I don't want to stress the analogy, but it would mean that you take a little tiny bit of water and just put it on the plant. I so wish somebody would have done that at the restaurant in the corner that closed as we've watched those plants die in their boxes this summer. We find them, and we can play a little gift to nature by watering what we're discovering. So that's the figurative way to do it, but literally it's so many different ways. It is the act of saying thank you for the places of refuge. Our place, the Fred Victor Mission, right across Canada, places where people feel refuge, and that they are like we have all maybe had that day, where we have felt like a little dandelion growing through a rock, that we're surrounded by stronger plants, and there we are. And someone helps us with a small drink of water. This is the point of refuge. So last week we were starting to look for those places of refuge. This week I'd love it if you would wonder with yourself and your family and your loved ones, what can I do to help them grow? What can I do to take that little piece of refuge and just make it a little bit stronger so that the next person coming behind me will see it even quicker than I did? And that's our homework for today. And I believe that that applies to so much of our lives, whether it's looking at world hunger, our own emotional health, the futures, that sense of what's growing, what's possible, how do I nurture it? How do I get involved as a gardener in that garden? And so I'll be delighted to hear from you. And I would really love it if anyone else has ever bought a piece of glass from Mount St. Helens, if they would let me know. With loving hearts and hands willing to serve, we turn to the work, the world, and our week ahead. Singing with creation and loving the earth ever more deeply, we are grateful to know that we are never alone. For God, the source of love, Jesus, love incarnate, and the sacred spirit of love are with us, inside us, between us, above us, and beyond us, knitting us together in a great beloved community of God's creation. Amen.